government intend to engender this cooperation? Because you have said we're not there yet. Is the relationship frosty between the federal government and the states governors of the states that the state of emergency has been declared? Is the relationship between them frosty?
I cannot say that this relationship is frosty, but from the utterances and from the things that I hear, they tend to be divisive. They tend to show me, or they tend to suggest that people are putting lines that this is their responsibility, this is ours. They ought to have done this, but they have not done this. It cannot be like that. In a war situation, everybody's hand is on deck. Even if you notice a lapse somewhere, you quickly call, because people's lives are, at risk here. We must all pull together. I am not seeing that yet, especially from the grounds, where these issues, are raging. I'm not seeing, there's still a mentality. Even when I listened to the maybe gentleman who you spoke to in Adamawa, I can still see some subdued, discomfort, in his voice. It is not that, when we had this, we did this, we called this, it's not like that. It is, it's as if, there is a crisis, and it is not our duty to protect people in the camp. It is somebody else's duty, and all that. And then also look at the classic information that we do get on television and in newspapers. People say, there are 17, please let me make this point. There are 17 Hilux buses, there are 13 Hilux buses, there are 9. Now, these Hilux buses full of insurgents do not come from the ground or drop from the sky. These people they come out from some bush and they drive. And if 17 vehicles are driving, you will have expected that people who saw them will immediately alert people and say, look, we don't know where these guys are going, but we can see this type of movement in this type of places. So that the security agents, I've had Nigerians talk about intelligence. Intelligence, by definition, is the analysis of various informations collated from different sources. But if informations are not available, what can you collate?
And 17 Hilux vans, which only suggests sometimes the brazenness of these attacks. Very recently, the governor of Borno State, on a visit to the president in Aso Villa, made some comments to which you gave a reply on behalf of the presidency. And there was a reply back to you as well on the comments which he made, which he said were honest comments. Do you think that with benefit of hindsight, you would have written your statement a little differently?
Malcolm, I did not make any outlandish statement. The governor said that the insurgents, we cannot defeat them. They are better armed. That is not a good thing to say. That is not a good thing to say. And I don't have any regrets for making those statements. You cannot put down an army that is fighting and where people are losing their lives. Even if you feel that there are some shortcomings, as you have held a meeting with the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as the chief security officer of your state, and as the chief political officer also, there's no need to demoralize the fighting force that you yourself rely on publicly. That there's something they call obligation of nobility. The office of a governor is a noble office. Attached to it are noble demands. There are certain things that a lead, for instance, in a family, the head of the family, there's certain information you have, that you just don't say openly to your children, because they will lose heart, they will lose mind. That is part of the thing that I'm talking about, that there's need for better internal cohesion. I don't have any regrets for what I said. What I said is a patriotic thing to say. It is not their fight, against us or us against them. The Nigerian army, even if President Goodluck Jonathan lives today, you are not going to import an army from Ghana. It is still the same people. These are our people, these are our children, these are our husbands who have volunteered to lay down their lives so that our people can have peace. So if these are the people we are going to use, these are people we are going to rely on, you cannot publicly desecrate them. It is not acceptable. It is not right. It is bad convention.
Dr. Okupe, but do you think that such back and forth, do you think that it engenders cooperation? Because the Borno State governor said he was making an honest giving an honest assessment, and he didn't try to put down, just a moment, sir. He did not try to put down the Nigerian army. He said that given the circumstances they found themselves in, they are trying their best. And he said it twice in his statement.
But he also said that we cannot defeat the insurgency.
He said given the circumstances as presently
is. No. There is no circumstance that will make us unable to defeat these insurgents. We have a responsible government in place. We have a professional army in place. And they are well treated. They are well armed. And there's that pronouncement is unpatriotic. And unfortunately, I really do not want to stretch it too far. Because I think we have gotten over that. Because he also came back later and changed his statement. Which is very good. You cannot pull down the only instrument you have of your defense. It is not proper. It is not right.
All right, Dr. Okupe, let me bring your attention to some of the matters in the public domain, which I think you can bring to the attention of the Commander-in-Chief with this respect. You talked about movement of Hilux vehicles and contacting certain authorities. Now, I do remember that at some point we were said to have spent about 40.12 million pounds. That's about 9.94 billion naira to build 2 observation satellites in 2011. And then we also spent more because that one fell, and then we erected another one. Are those satellites working? Why can't we use them to trace movements of insurgents?
Chamberlain, I can assure you, and I'm not playing to the gallery. The satellites are working. I have been to the satellite site in Abuja. It has been, and I've been there twice. And even on one of the occasions I was lucky when the satellite was passing over Abuja. The satellites are working and they are of service. I am not at liberty here to tell we have even things that are greater than what the satellite. The satellite has limitations. If anything is less than maybe I don't know exactly now, maybe 4 feet or 3 feet, you cannot pick it. So satellites have the various functions, and they also have their limitations. And the more highly defined they are, the more expensive they are. The satellite we have in Nigeria, can detect at least movements of vehicles, but maybe not of persons, because when a man is standing, the area that it covers on the surface of the earth is probably less than 2 feet. These satellites will pick anything about 4 feet and above. So the satellites are working, and it is not nice to just it's not everything that government is doing that government especially in security issues that government can say that this is what is going on. Otherwise, you even undermine the entire apparatus that you intend to use. For instance, I tell you, our security agencies were able to detect a man in Hadija in Kano loading bombs and things into a petroleum vehicle, and they followed him all the way from Hadija all the way to Sokoto, where they were trying to see what he was going to do, who was going to meet and all that, until they finally stopped him somewhere in Sokoto State and arrested him. It's the same security people were people who in Kano I can tell you openly today that it was not human intelligence, it was technological intelligence that was able to detect ammunition below bunkers in Kano. We have such architecture. I can also tell you, let me make this final point. I can also tell you that if you remember the event that happened in the US, where some two brothers, were going through a bomb and all that, and the whole city was shut down and all that. The technology that was used is available in Nigeria. I have seen it. So it is. We are engaging, or we are engaged in a serious warfare that has become internationalized. So people are doing a lot